Part 4. The New Rome. And so the city falls, 1,000 years of Byzantine glory snuffed out like a candle in the wind. On that day in May, the world tilts on its axis. For when Mehmed rides through the shattered gates, history ceases to be what it was and becomes what he wills it to be. But conquest for Mehmed is not the end, it is the prologue. Constantinople, bloodied, smouldering, ghost-haunted, is a prize too precious to leave in ruin. Where others see ashes, he sees marble. Where others smell death, he scents eternity. And so, he sets about his second conquest, not of walls, but of time. The city must live, and live Ottoman. He summons architects, masons, scholars, merchants. Hagia Sophia, the shrine of emperors, he consecrates as a mosque, yet spares its glittering mosaics, as though reluctant to erase beauty, even when it speaks in another tongue. Around it, he raises a forest of minarets, a chorus of domes. The Fatih Mosque, serene and imperious, its shadow stretching like a blessing over the reborn city. But he does not stop with stone. To fill his city, he turns deportation into art. From Anatolia, from the Balkans, from far Armenia, come caravans of souls, Muslims, Christians, Jews, all flung together like jewels in a sultan's turban. Greeks return to their old quarters. Armenians cluster near Sarmatia. Jews take root by the Golden Horn. By imperial decree, a city rises from its grave. A city of tongues, creeds and colours, humming like a hive under the Ottoman sun. And Mehmed. He crowns himself with a title to make Caesars twitch in their tombs. Kaiser Irum, Caesar of Rome. Let popes froth in their silks. Let princes snarl from their thrones. The Orthodox patriarch, newly anointed by Mehmed's own hand, nods in solemn assent. In the marble heart of Hagia Sophia, under lamps perfumed with musk, an ancient empire bends its knee to a boy who dreamed too loudly and made the world listen. By 1478, the numbers tell the tale. Where weeds once clawed at shattered stones, 16,000 households now smoke with hearth fires. 80,000 souls chatter in bazaars, fragrant with saffron and sweat. Ships jostle in the Golden Horn, their sails fat with trade winds. Mehmed has not merely taken a city, he has forged a capital, the diamond in the diadem of empire. Part 5. The Restless Sword. Yet for all his marble and minarets, Mehmed is no gardener content to prune roses. His is a hunger without shore. The ink on Constantinople's epitaph is scarcely dry before his thoughts leap west, east, north, everywhere but still. For the world, to Mehmed, is a chessboard, and he intends to checkmate kings. First, the Balkans. Serbia, that battered buffer, falls beneath his heel. Bosnia follows, its mountains echoing with the wail of church bells strangled into silence. In Trebizond, the last flicker of Byzantine pride, he snuffs the flame with a mailed fist. The Black Sea becomes an Ottoman lake, its waves lapping obediently at his shores. But Europe will not go gentle into that good night. From the misty Carpathians rides a figure clawed from nightmares. Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, son of the dragon. A man whose soul seems pickled in venom, who dines amid forests of his own making. Forests of men skewered on stakes, their bodies writhing like ghastly fruit in a crimson orchard. Even Mehmed, who has stared into more than one abyss, recoils at the sight. And here, history twists the knife. For this fiend of Wallachia was once no stranger to Mehmed's halls. As a boy, Vlad shared bread and lessons in the Ottoman court. A hostage, he learned Turkish, he learned the bow, and he learned to loathe. His younger brother Radu, bent with the wind. Handsome, soft-spoken, Radu embraced Islam, charmed Mehmed, and rose in Ottoman favour. Where Vlad bristled, Radu bowed. And so bloodlines fork. One brother becomes Mehmed's cherished ally, Radu the Fair, while the other sharpens his soul into a spike. When Mehmed advances into Wallachia, it is a duel of old ghosts. Vlad greets him not with battle lines, but with scorched earth and psychological theatre. Villages vanish in smoke, rivers clog with corpses, and then, like the devil's own gallery, Mehmed finds the Forest of the Impaled, 20,000 men, women and children writhing on stakes, their lifeless eyes glassy under the sun. The Sultan, iron-willed though he is, turns pale. Yet onward he marches, through blood and horror, until Wallachia lies gasping beneath the crescent. And when the dust settles, it is Radu, Mehmed's boyhood companion, whom he installs as voivode, a pliant reed in the wind where Vlad had been a storm. But Vlad was not the only ghost from Mehmed's youth to haunt his reign. In the dim corridors of the Ottoman court, as tutors bent his mind into steel, one name fluttered like a black banner in the wind: Gheorghe Castrioti, Skanderbeg. The tale was a dagger whispered at night, a Christian prince taken as a child, raised under Ottoman eyes, honed into a weapon of Islam, and then, in a stroke of audacity, turning the blade against its forge. Skanderbeg did not just escape. He mocked the empire, carved his defiance into Albania's granite spine, and held the passes of his homeland against sultans for decades. By the time Mehmed dons the diadem of conquest, Skanderbeg is no phantom of history, but a living storm. Old enough to be Mehmed's father, yet still astride his warhorse, the Albanian eagle tears Ottoman armies like cloth. Fortress after fortress shudders at his name. Banners blacken in smoke where his sword arcs. For Mehmed, whose ambition stretches from Rome to Persia, Skanderbeg is not a mere rebel. He is a legend that refuses to die. To the east, another foe rears like a storm cloud, Uzun Hasan of the White Sheep Turkomans, lord of Persia's wild marches. They clash at Otlukbeli in 1473, a battle of thunder, iron and bone. When the dust settles, the white sheep are but a red mist on the wind, and Mehmed rides triumphant, his standard snapping like flame against a bruised sky. Then, northward, beyond the snows, Mehmed casts his gaze to the frozen steppes of the Black Sea. There, the Crimean Khanate, Kurum, glitters like a jewel in the storm. Genoese merchants still cling to its harbours, dreaming Venetian dreams. Mehmed shatters them. In 1475, Ottoman banners crack in the Crimean wind. Kaffa, the great Genoese fortress, falls with a groan of iron gates. The Giray dynasty bends the knee, its khans now vassals to the Sultan. With this, Mehmed does not merely win a province. He seizes the northern sword hand of empire. The Khanate becomes his dagger, pointed at Muscovy's throat, and the Black Sea, once a highway of rivals, now lies captive, a dark mirror for the Ottoman moon. Beyond the Aegean, Venice glitters, a siren draped in silks, her coffers swollen with gold. Mehmed hurls his galleys against her, clawing at her island jewels. Negroponte falls, the wine-dark sea froths with blood. For 20 years, the Lion of St. Mark and the Sultan of Rum trade bites like rabid dogs, until at last Venice, panting and bloody, buys peace with gold and humiliation. Yet Mehmed's gaze has already slid further west, to a land steeped in legend, where Caesars once strode and popes mutter their prayers. Italy. In 1480, his banners darken the skies above Otranto. southern Italy trembles. Rome itself whispers a question that chills the marrow. Will St. Peter's hear the muezzins call? But history, that trickster, slams the door. For fate is sharpening her sickle, and Mehmed does not know it.